Okay, Unit 3, Lecture 3B. We're continuing New England colonies, right? Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and of course Plymouth, which was absorbed later on into Massachusetts. The main reason for settlement of this region is religious freedom, for themselves, right? The early colonists at Plymouth and Massachusetts were not tolerant of any forms of dissent, which is straying from the accepted beliefs, okay? The soil in New England is very important, is rocky, and the growing season much shorter than other regions. And these factors have a huge influence on the region's economy because of the economy, because of the soil and the lack of good soil, the economy is going to be based on shipbuilding, fishing, lumbering, small-scale subsistence farming, just growing enough for your family, all right, and eventually manufacturing later on. All right, so these colonies prospered, reflecting the Puritans' strong belief in the values of hard work and thrift. Okay, the Puritan work ethic. Society in colonial New England revolved around cod and God. Cod is a fish, remember this term, okay? So the economy centers on fishing, and one's place in society is based on religious standing, church standing, all right? And as the colonies form and grow, the Puritans are going to become increasingly intolerant of dissenters, all right, who challenge the Puritans' belief in the connection between religion and government, especially their strong belief that everybody should be able to read the Bible led New England to establish the earliest public schools. Every town with 50 families had to have a school, public school, and the establishment of the first college, Harvard. All right, so there's no separation of church and state in New England. You had to be a church member to participate in town meetings. Town meetings are an example of direct democracy, where all the male church members gathered to vote, all right, directly. So it's direct or Athenian, Athens, Greece, democracy. And they're practiced direct democracy in New England because people live in towns. They live close together because of the poor soil, all right? So small farms, towns, people living closer together allows for people to show up at town meetings and participate. Where in the South, they're spread out far, so we have representative democracy. Two New England colonies that deserve a little bit more discussion are Rhode Island and Connecticut. Rhode Island is founded by Roger Williams. Remember him. He's a religious dissenter who preaches liberty of conscience, freedom of thought, and believed in separation of church and state. All right. Remember, in early New England, there is none. These beliefs are going to lead the Puritans to cast him out of Massachusetts. Williams also believes in universal male suffrage. All right. So this means that all men could vote, no matter their religious beliefs or if they own property, all right? So remember, suffrage is a word that means the right to vote. So Williams' ideas lead him to be cast out. He founds Rhode Island as a haven for dissenters. For example, Anne Hutchinson was a woman who preached and interpreted the Bible. Bad news, all right? A woman with an opinion and ideas. So she's chased out of Massachusetts and fled to Rhode Island. Connecticut I mentioned because of the fundamental orders of Connecticut, which I want you to remember. This is the first example of a written constitution in the colonies, all right? So these ideas in religious freedom and the writing of a constitution by a state are two small steps towards the ideas that are so important to the development foundation of our nation, all right? Baby steps, small increments, all right? I want to jump ahead briefly, or not too far in the future, to the 1700s and the Great Awakening. All right, the Great Awakening is an early religious revival led by preachers such as Jonathan Edwards and George Whitefield. All right, the Great Awakening is characterized by fire and brimstone sermons. All right, very emotional, and these are going to lead to the growth of both the Baptist and Methodist denominations. All right, what's really, really important about the Great Awakening is it lays the groundwork for the challenge, or to challenge, traditional authority, all right? This questioning of the establishment is an important stepping stone or foundation leading us towards the American Revolution, all right? Challenging authority, questioning those in charge becomes inherent in our nature, all right? It's part of who we are as Americans, and this is where it gets established, in the groundwork that's laid during the Great Awakening. All right, that's the end of Unit 1, Lecture 3. Good luck.